With all the unmarked and marked graves that are being uncovered across the country of children who attended residential schools, I'm sure I'm not alone on being rocked to my core. And so I'm reaching out because I want to share a story and also offer a gift because I really want to support you in the ways that I know you are contributing already to make a difference. So I've been working on Indigenous and non-Indigenous relationship building since 1990. And in the early 2000s, I got a call from Carrie Reed, who's the owner of Mostly Salish Consulting. And she asked if I could join her facilitation team on a 3-week healing retreat for women survivors of residential school. Normally, it's 3 Indigenous facilitators to lead this retreat, but at the last second, one of her Indigenous facilitators just couldn't make it, and they couldn't find an Indigenous facilitator that could take this up with such short notice. So they decided, instead of canceling it right away, they would reach out to me to see if I would be available and interested in being part of their team. So of course you can imagine the level of honor that I felt. At the same time, I had just come back from working on human rights and torture in Peru and was deeply affected by that experience and knew that residential school is really Canada's own homegrown legacy of torture. And I knew that I had to have a certain way of handling the stories I would hear, that I wouldn't be a burden to the group, but actually be someone that could contribute. I voiced my concerns, and we had a great discussion on how we'd work together to ensure that everyone would be well through the process. So in the end, I did go, and I'm so grateful for that experience. It was tremendously difficult to hear the level of abuse that people endured and the intergenerational trauma as a result of it. From that experience, I really saw how, across the country, Indigenous people were so busy doing incredible work, regenerating their cultures, regenerating systems and structures of governance, justice, healing practices, and so much more. And I wasn't seeing nearly the same effort in the non-Indigenous communities to rebuild a relationship or build for the first time, in many cases, a collaborative relationship that respected our unique ways of seeing, being, and knowing. And so this really motivated me in the research I was doing at the time. I was looking at how to shift national collective denial between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people, because it seemed to me that no matter how hard we tried to change things, there was some glue that was keeping it together. And after several years of research and looking at national reconciliation movements around the world, what I came to understand is that the glue that keeps it together in a way where it does not work is an awareness and understanding and actual practical skills around worldviews. So when we look at residential school or our relationship between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people, we will see at the heart of it is the imposition of one worldview over another, an imposition of an economic system, a governance system, a way of viewing land and owning land, of language, culture, you name it, has been an imposition of one worldview over another. And when we understand how critical it is to have a worldview and to have it respected and understood and to be engaged with in a mutual way, and when we don't, the devastating impact, then we understand how critical it is to learn effective worldview skills. And I see them in 3 steps. There's skills to engage worldviews so that we don't trample on people's worldview inadvertently. There's skills to engage across worldview difference in a way that fosters mutuality. And because of the legacy of colonialism and imperialism around the world, of really an imposition of one culture, one language on so many systems, relationships, structures, nations around the world, then we also need skills to learn how to regenerate worldviews. And I truly believe that if we can practice these skills, then we are learning from the past and starting to build a future that we can all live in, that respects all of our diverse worldviews